Hello, we're back. Let's do this. Elden Ring is back for its 30th... whatever the heck this is. 30th ridiculousness. I think that's the collective noun for Elden Ring, is the ridiculousness of Elden Ring. We're going to be starting Confessor. And I confess that I've already made a character template for this one. This is going to be the Black Steel Greathammer playthrough. And as such, I can show you in full view here. I've made Zoolander. This is about as close as I could get to the Zoolander look. There are a couple of other makeup options, but they didn't quite work. So, yeah, I found a picture of Ben Stiller looking as much like Zoolander as possible. And the next one is going to be Zoolander 2, because it's another Black Steel weapon. So instead of Blue Steel, we have Black Steel. We're going to start Golden Seed as per usual. Here comes the bouncy ball. Sing along if you know the words. Great to be back here again. Black Steel instead of blue. This is Dylan Zoolander. Yes.
The fallen leaves tell a story.
I have not watched Zoolander for probably about a decade, so I will not have a great deal of like fun references for you other than occasionally saying that something is either Blue Steel or Magnum and making jokes about not being able to turn left. And I don't think I've ever seen Zoolander 2. You know when Zoolander came out? 2001.
Queen Marika, the Eternal.
People who were born the same year Zoolander came out are now 24 years old. I hate that. I kind of hate that, actually.
Knight of the Black Knights, Godwyn the Golden, was first to perish.
Godwyn the Golden feels like he could have been the other runway model. Okay, feeling my age? Same, Dan. Same.
Claimed the shards of the Elden Ring.
Can we be beating that guy today? Mohg, not Mikola. We're definitely not going to be beating Mikola today. Imagine, I've just become a speedrunner in the meantime. Elden Ring is just one really, really cutthroat modeling competition. I mean, it is. The thing they want to model is the Elden Ring.
A war leading to abandonment.
Category is Great Runes.
By the greater will. Oh, rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead. Who yet live.
I also just realized I have no idea what kind of smithing stones I need for the Black Steel Greathammer. So bear with me while I look that up. Also, Extra Life Wiki has started asking me if I want to accept cookies on basically every page, and I hate it.
Chieftain of the Badlands. The ever-brilliant Gold Mask.
Upgrades with regular smithing stones. Okay, cool. I guess so, because it's infusible. Speaking of speedrunning, what's my PB for Elden Ring? I have one of these playthroughs I think I finished in about 5 hours. But then I think the best time I've done it in on stream was a New Game Plus run, so it doesn't necessarily count in quite the same way, but it was like 2.5 hours. The Beastman's Curved Sword playthrough, which I think is going up on YouTube in the next day or two, is, yeah, it was like 2.5 hours long. Like, we got that done in one stream and still had time to start on Black Bow.
A tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between.
Show us that face. Give us blue steel. Oh, it's not going to happen.
To stand before the Elden Ring. and become the Elden Lord.
Hi, I'm back. I also have no idea what kind of armor set we're going to go for. We really need to be thinking fashion souls if we're Zoolander. But I don't know what the ideal armor set is going to be, so maybe we won't worry too much about that. I don't know if this shield gives 100% physical negation. If it does, we might use it for quite a while. Otherwise, I need to think about what shield we're going to use as well, because this is actually going to be the first build where we are going to be relying on guard counters very heavily. Obviously not for this fight, but guard counters are the whole point of this weapon, basically. It is for guard counters. And specifically, if you infuse it with a Holy Ash of War, it gives you, like, absolutely sick guard counters. Like, it's got a skill that's specifically designed to use them. So we're going to be getting hold of the Curved Sword Talisman from Stormveil, bare minimum, and we'll see what else we can get from there. Well, that went quickly. Pretty standard for Grafted Scion. We are going to have to fight him at some stage for Ornamental Straight Sword, but who knows if we'll ever get that far. We've got a lot of weapons between now and then. In the meantime, there's Limgrave. So, of course, we're going to have to do various quests just to get to Mohgwyn Palace early, because we need to fight Mohg. Change in title is needed. Already made it.
Oh, come to, of course, you unfortunate without God, you are fate. Like me. Are you familiar? You may also that. It will leave even if it.
If you're not seeing Elden Ring in the title, refresh your browser. Like, I'm pretty sure that's correct, yeah. Right, let's hop over here. Mobile is weird. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Everything ends up getting cached on the mobile version, I think. Every now and again you get a brief shot of his lips. Which is a blessing and a curse. Like a nun that swears. Let's use this.
And I can also that you're not then. Why not? I am Carlin.
Grab some arrows. And head off to see Melina. As per usual, we're going to be picking up a weapon that can deal bleed damage and getting some bleed grease. So we will grab the Morning Star from Weeping Peninsula and get the other Sacred Tears while we're there. Want to grab... Oh, is it here? Where's the grease? What you done with me grease, lad? Oh, there it is. The root resin. Ignore the boar. Yeah, +1s for all of those. Just a quick refresh and it's fine mobile, yeah. Twitch being twitchy, as per usual. What's up, Janice? Welcome in. We are starting a fresh run of Elden Ring. Speedrunning our way to the DLC for the Black Steel Greathammer. But first, we have to get the horse.
They serve, but I can play turning to 80. You need to the foot. Then summon me. I bequeath. It will some torrent. Treat him with.
Alright. Let's go get the Wet Blade so we can add Wild Strikes. We're going back to Wild Strikes for this one. I think the last couple of Greyoll takedowns we've used a weapon that we've started with. If we started with a bleed weapon like the knife or the katana. How long does it take to do each playthrough? About 5 or 6 hours. This one might be a little bit longer because we have to go to the DLC. But the weapon itself seems pretty hench, so I guess we'll find out. It also totally depends on any optional objectives that I set for playthroughs. So sometimes I'll want to do like an all bosses run. Sometimes we get hold of a bunch of extra spells or do some of the optional bosses, get armor sets, that kind of thing. No clue what a DLC is. DLC is downloadable content. It's basically the optional area of the game that you had to pay to unlock. But it's huge. It's basically a whole second game. Can we do a whole boss guard counters only? Almost certainly. In fact, I may end up doing that before we even attain the weapon, but with this one, we're going to need to get up to just before Morgott, and I think we can probably do some guard counters on Morgott. This is also going to be a faith scaling weapon, which is a concern primarily because some of the bosses later in the game are very resistant to holy damage, but that didn't matter that much for the Black Knife, so we get our usual jellyfish. Say farewell to Roderica for now. Head up here to get Wild Strikes. Never played this game. A lot of big games I haven't played because laptop. Sure. I haven't played a lot of big games because I do not have the time. But then again, here I am playing Elden Ring several times a week now. So maybe if I wanted to play other games more, I would just find the time. It's a pretty game to watch. It is a beautiful game. Not the beautiful game, that's football, but a beautiful game. That's Elden Ring. A little bit more root resin on the way. Now I want football in Elden Ring. I mean, you can more or less do that with the golden skulls that you find around the place. It's pretty easy to keep track of the ball. Right, back to Church of LA to meet Ranni. Not that we're going to be talking to Ranni much in this playthrough, I don't think. But who knows.
This way, tarnished. May I apply on the wit? I'd heard and upon the talk thou art to call forth.
I can call the spectral steed.
'Tis a summon the spirit now, it is that. For I doubt we how long will it be for the time?
I think we maybe need to take the Confessor hood off so that we can see this beautiful face a bit more. Also, there wasn't quite a hair that fit Zoolander perfectly, but I thought this looks good enough. What's up, Zerotron? Welcome back. Hop down here, get this. Grab these, even though we don't really need them. Just in case we want to do some farming of whatever later on. One guy's really going for it. So if you're unfamiliar with the shortcut to the DLC that we usually take, this is going to involve getting Bloodhound's Fang, leveling it up to +10, and getting a very specific combination of stuff with which to fight Mohg. We do have to fight Radahn on the way, partly so we can get into Lanedale for an upgrade material, and partly so that the DLC becomes available at all, because beating Radahn is a prerequisite of entering the DLC. But we should be able to do all of that in about 2 hours, leaving us with a little bit of time to acquire the weapon, which we should be able to do very quickly once we're in the DLC, because it's in a very nearby location to the entry points. So we're going to hop down here just to get hold of the somber smithing stone that's over here on this guy on a chair who decided to come out and just die in this field surrounded by flowers. Could be worse. And then we cut in front of the chariot or carriage or whatever it is. Hop up here, grab this. That's 2 gold pickled feet. Oh, they've seen me, but for how long? About that long. Can we get back over to Bridge of Sacrifice from here? I think maybe we can. Came by a kind of awkward route this time, but gets me off the road. So horses in this are bumper cars? Pretty much. And wolves in this are cannon fodder. Cannons in this we're about to experience. There it is. A few more smithing stones, 1 stone sword key. Grace here, just in case we want to come back to Weeping Peninsula later. The curved sword talisman is in Stormvale, in the room where you're supposed to go and get the rusty key, so... we will need this weapon. Hello. This weapon. We'll get this smithing stone as well. There's a golden seed and 3 sacred tears we can get while we're here. I don't think this merchant needs to give us anything this time. And even though this is going to be a faith build, I think the weapon is pretty reliably damagey, so I'm not going to worry about spell slots this time. I am going to take a sip of tea. And get shot at by a guy. Nice shot. I got stuck under an overhang. Help. It's gonna be a good run. If that sheep is stuck in the rock, it means we have 6 more weeks of winter. Oh, come on. You can give me those jumps. Not 6 more weeks. Ground sheep day, exactly. No, it's already feeling so much nicer daylight hours-wise. Like, we're starting the Elden Ring stream and it's still light. It's going to be light for another couple of hours. I'm like, yes. So good. I think we'll head down here and get the Faith Knot tier, because this is a Faith build. It's a Faith weapon. So we might as well. Okay. Now back up to the church. Cardinals aren't singing here yet, that's worrisome. Are you in the Vatican? Or are you talking about the birds? I feel like it is a worrying sign that the Pope has had some health scares recently and Conclave got snubbed at the Oscars. Apparently. I haven't even seen any of the stuff from the Oscars. But I saw one Smosh video where they were... was it even a Smosh video, or was it just Angela from Smosh? Just in one of those kind of like big... what are they called? Miters? Pretending to be angry at the results of the Oscars. Okay, as before, we will grab this grace just in case we want to come back here for some reason, and return here. Oh. If I can actually tag the grace this time. What type of tea we got there? The usual English breakfasts. Bit of milk. Oh yeah, no, we do need to go this way. I was like, did we already... That's the guy who turns into a bear. We're just going to ignore him. The Elden Ring subreddit this week has been on an absolute tear about the Dismounter, which is the sword that those horsemen back there have. Like, somebody made a post asking what the sword that the Horned Warrior is carrying in the two-handed sword talisman is, and somebody was like, it's clearly a Dismounter or something, and then everybody has now just been making Dismounter memes, and it's very funny, but also something you cannot explain to anybody who does not know Elden Ring. Because they'd be like, I don't understand why this is funny. Now brand? Oh, Yorkshire tea. I'm not fancy enough to always have Yorkshire Gold, but we always have Yorkshire tea. I agree, it's the best tea. Got a robust taste, it doesn't taste like weak and thin. There's something about PG Tips tea that I just... it's not the same, you know? And like, I was never expecting to be the kind of person who developed like a palate for what type of tea they prefer. And I'm definitely not as bad as some folks are. When I was at university, I briefly exploded like that. I'm better now, though. When I was at university, I briefly had some housemates who are a lovely couple and are still, hopefully, doing great up in the north of England. And her parents were so particular about their tea that they used to bring bottled water with them because they had found the type of water that made the best tea. I'm like, y'all are nuts. Like, I don't care that much. Everyone's allowed their eccentricities, of course, I kid, but, like, they were serious about tea, and I'm like, I'm never going to be that serious about anything. Except, apparently, Minecraft and Elden Ring. It was like borderline superstition, as far as I'm concerned. Like to try real tea sometime, see what you're all on about. I mean, I think the thing about tea in general is that as an individual experience, sure, you can enjoy it, but I don't think it's going to necessarily have the resonance for you that it has for, like, British people, unless you sort of become part of the culture a little bit. Because tea on its own is not really a big deal, but we drink it all the time. As a British person, tea is meh. Yeah, see, I never started drinking tea until, it's probably like my second year of university. I had to get a part-time job, and just like on my shifts when I was taking a break, I started drinking tea then because other people were drinking tea too, and it wasn't like a peer pressure thing, but like I was like, you know what, maybe I'm that like level of adult where I should try like having tea and coffee, because before that I'd only ever drunk like fruit juice or squash or water or whatever. And yeah, I think it was just like having a cup of tea on my shift at work. Making tea for other people also becomes like a whole thing. It's an act of service, really. Like it's just one of those things that you do to be pleasant. You offer somebody a cup of tea, which means you have to know how to make it. There's some things that are sold at Lidl, Aldi, and Edeka. However, I can only have that particular thing from Aldi. Oh, sure, yeah. And yeah, some people are like particular about it for a variety of reasons, and that's all perfectly fine. Like I will never have a problem with that. Become part of a nation that overloads the power lines, putting the kettle on all at the same time, right? Right, let's tag the Grace here. I'm gonna head over here and grab this. Actually, no, I'm not gonna worry about it this time. I think the circle of chairs down by the Divine Tower is probably where it's at in terms of. Oh, hello. Yep, it's us. Wait for that fire breath attack. Ain't it just? MJ Schechter, thank you so much for the Prime sub. You gonna do a fire breath attack if I run away? Yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. Okay, now we wait until the dragon gets to over here. And I put the foul feet on the pouch. I can't do my item crafting until after this. Keep walking, bud. Keep walking. Okay. Thank goodness for that. Gotta wait for it to get as far over as possible. And now we pop out. We mount up. We wait for it to get flying. And hopefully it lands on the tree. Nice. So now we run back down here. We wait for it to get stuck in its flying position. And in a few seconds it should die. That is amazingly consistent now. Sick. Yeah. Tree damage, yes. Now that is the game choosing to kill anything that's been falling for long enough because it assumes it's falling out of the world. Usually that applies to the player. Apparently it also applies to dragons. You hate killing dragons? I didn't even kill that one. That was all the tree. Or gravity, or whatever. Alright, quick tag of this grace, and then it's Knight's Cavalry time. Although the cavalry is all the way down here now, and it's potentially getting close to daytime, so hopefully it doesn't despawn before we get to do this. No, you don't. Come on, lad. Get thee over here. Oh, go on. Oh. Oh, we almost came a cropper of that one, didn't we? Come on. Oh, wow. Full on uppercut me that time. Yeah, this one I've botched ever so slightly here. Let's resummon Torrent, which I've managed to do. Okay, get up here. Maybe stay on the horse. Does that help? Okay, he's stuck. This is where he needs to be. The back end of this horse is doing goodness knows what. Alright. Now we try and get him to reset his position. Yes, perfect. And the foul foot is still in effect, so that's max runes for us. That was not too bad in the end. I thought he'd killed us when he knocked me off the horse, but it turns out he just killed Torrent, which is fine because Torrent is immortal. Except to Frenzy? Well, sure, yeah, but we're talking mechanically in-game rather than canonically in the lore or whatever. Alright. Up to see Greyoll, and that'll be us basically up to level 50, I think, at this stage. We'll also get a quick visit from Melina while we change the Ash of War on the Morning Star.
Forgive me to determine if you had. It seems Torrent, whereas there is, but I can take gathering place. Shall I let my hand share them?
I'm just going to put a few into endurance here because
your ambitions.
We need
The principles
16 strength,
would
17
follow.
dexterity. The rest can go into vigor, but we want to have probably 20 endurance. And the endurance will also get all of the wild striking we're about to be doing. A little bit more time on deck. So, quickly change to that. We've still got our second foul foot. Let's put the blood grease on here. Two-hand the Morning Star, not that we need to. Grease and release. We should get 2 bleeds out of the first wave of this. Oh, not quite, but close. That close. Nice. Bleed threshold is basically at its highest now, so give it a couple more rounds. We'll just do this next one without FP. Which means way less damage, but the bleed still counts. I think the foul foot lasts for like 3 minutes, so totally safe to use it there. Nice. And that is another 100,000. So that should get our vigor up to 30, which is great. We should just about have enough for another level. We need 600. We'll use 800. Notice you're doing this every stream pretty much. I don't understand what it's supposed to do / achieve. Basically, this is a fast way of gaining a lot of runes. We're at level 50 right now. That would normally take, like, until the... probably, like, the second boss. Like, the second major story boss is where you're supposed to be around this level. So really it's just a matter of getting a lot of early levels so that you are well equipped to fight some enemies out of the intended sequence. Or at least to get a really strong head start on what will eventually be the stats that you need to wield or just deal heavy damage with your preferred weapon. Right now we're getting a specific character build together to fight just the bosses that you need to fight to obtain access to the DLC, which is relatively few in the grand scheme of things. There are 165 bosses in the base game. We need to fight maybe like 5. The bug or exploit of some kind. You could consider it an exploit, but the thing about these games, like Dark Souls had this as well, is that there is usually a semi-intended shortcut of sorts to leveling up quickly at the start of the game. Or there are at least, like, ways people have discovered over the years throughout playing this that are smart ways that you can go and get a bunch of experience. I mean, souls in Dark Souls, runes in Elden Ring, quite early at the start of the game. So these are some of the strategies that speedrunners will use, presuming they're going for like a standard route through the game. And I would not be surprised if at this point From Software leave in little stuff like this, just to make it easier for repeat players to level up quickly at the start of a new run. But then also, it could just be that this stuff wasn't originally intended, but players have made it this way throughout their frequent playthroughs. They've kind of, figured out like the optimal strategy for early runes. The Ender of Elden Ring? Kind of, yes. Although I guess the Ender of Elden Ring is probably the Mohg Palace bird farm, where you basically get yourself into a very high-level area and cheese a bird off a cliff multiple times to get a ton more runes that way. Technically speaking, Draconic Tree Sentinel could be your first mandatory boss of a run. Yes and no. Like, I mean, you could fight Draconic Tree Sentinel early, but there'd be no point because you can't get into Lanedale yet. You wouldn't be let in until you beat the 2 Shard Bearers anyway, but you could go and fight him. So we don't need these smithing stones for the setup that we want, but we do want them for the Black Steel Greathammer later, so... This is Zoolander, by the way, for anyone just joining us. With a multiplayer exploit, you can do Golden Godfrey as your mandatory first boss. I mean, sure, yeah, like, you can... You can glitch your way into a lot of stuff. You can go straight from Weeping Peninsula to Lanedale, you know? Okay, bye-bye dragon. That's 3 smithing stones we will use later. Oh yeah, we can get up this branch. We found that out last time. Just to avoid having to deal with the dragons in the lake there. Gonna hit up this scarab. This one is kind of playing ball right now. Definitely the most appropriate enemies to play ball. We could play randomizer and get, would it be Elden Scion Grafted Beasts? Entirely possible too. You get Godfrey the Grafted. And Regal Ancestor Godfrey. Okay, let's get the Dragon Barrow Grace, because it'll be a lot easier to come back here later and do the Cleanrot Knights fight to get the Gold Scarab Talisman if we have a Grace nearby. I'm just adding stuff to this setup every time, so hopefully I remember how to do everything else. But with absolutely 0 runes left, we shall touch this grace. And it is time for us to go and see Kale again.
Well, you're... I suppose. Next time you don't frag yourself.
Okay, back to Fort Heights. Go see Blythe. Go fight Darriwil. Get Smithing Stone 2 and Bloodhound's Fang. And then Margit. Yes, we received the Thanos snap gesture. Where is it this time? There we go.
Ukale sent you the name's bloody fled, so come tell me if I can offer you.
Alright, we know where Darriwil is. What's up, Jacob? Welcome in. Welcome to the Black Steel Greathammer run. This is our 30th playthrough of Elden Ring and the Elden Ring A-Z, where I'm trying to beat the game with every weapon in alphabetical order. It's going pretty well so far. Right now we just need to get to the DLC as fast as possible, so we're doing our usual DLC route. You don't even need to summon Blythe for this fight to have a chance of beating Darriwil, but also to get the Smithing Stone. I'm pretty sure he just like stands by this arena if you've met him and beaten Darriwil. Oh, okay, we're taking damage here. Bear with me. I guess I also haven't done anything with my Wondrous Physic or used Blood Grease for this, so... Haven't even equipped Radagon's Swordsuit. So there are several things we could be doing differently. That doesn't matter much now we have Bloodhound's Fang. Cheers, boss.
How to work for it, don't say I'm not. Oh, if you venture, tell him I sent, he'll be sure I owe you honor.
Alright. Back to Church Valley to level this up twice, Margit fight, and then off to Liurnia. I mean, via Godrick, but... Godrick's a given. Nice. Gotta remember to equip the Wondrous Physic tier before we go into this fight, but... Still haven't got the Elden Ring DLC yet. Would I recommend? Yes. Yes, I would. It is worth the price if you enjoyed the base game. It is basically like Elden Ring 1.5. It feels like a massive expansion to the base game. A lot of cool weapons, a lot of fun bosses, a bunch of additional lore if that's what you're into. Basically a second game in the same world with a lower price point. I mean, it's in a completely different world in the sense that it's got a map all of its own, but... We'll put the Faith Knot tier in here for now. We need the Dex Knot tier for this build, but... We will drink Physic, we will apply Blood Grease. We will fight Margit.
Foul tarnished. In search of the Elden Ring.
Size of Limgrave was a lie. Yeah, it's about the size of Limgrave, Leonia, and Caelid all stitched together. Might have to get it then. Get it when you can. Like, obviously, live within your means, but it's a really good time. It's pretty tough as DLC goes, but... yeah. Alright, Margit. Oh, touche. Huge.
Well, thou art of passing skill. Warrior blood must truly run in thy veins.
Oh, he almost hit me off the cliff. But he didn't. I was trying to skip phase 2 there. I was going for style points.
I shall remember thee, tarnished, smoldering with thy meager flame.
So you're just starting this game, you should try a late game weapon called Rivers of Blood. Ah, Okina has entered the chat.
The hands of the fell Omen shall brook thee no court.
It's tight. God, you breached. Well, but of course.
Yeah, Run 30 is a fun thing to classify as just starting. It's true. I'm just starting this game, 900 hours in. I don't think the runes he gave us will even be enough to level up at this point, but... should be in the clear from there. Time to get attacked by the Omen Lion. Not quite. I want to say we'll use Godrick's Great Rune for this run. Even though the last couple of times I've said that, I've usually switched to Radahn or Morgott's later. Not even counting runs outside of this challenge. Yeah, at least one of which has been streamed in its entirety. You missed me. Oh, ow. Fortunately, at this point, we have a pretty decent-sized health bar, so... what would normally be like half of our health, if we did this at the normal level, is pretty straightforward. Co-op was great. I want to do more of that, but we're going to be playing Night Rain at some stage in May, so... he hasn't seen me, right? What do we need? 3,000? We've got one of those. Time to go fight Godrick. But first, a word from our sponsor. Have you heard of Leveling Vigor? It's basically all we're allowed to do at this point, although I could put some points into Faith. But I think we need to get to 40 Vigor before I consider doing that. But, yeah, for the way we're fighting Mohg, there's like a very specific balance of strength and dex that you're supposed to have, so after a certain point, just to get into the DLC with enough, no, I'm not going to bother. Just to get into the DLC with enough vigor to survive, you kind of want to be leveling vigor. Aiming for 40.
Mighty dragon, thou'rt a true born heir. Lend me thy strength, O kindred. Deliver me unto Greyll.
command thee, kneel. I am the Lord.
Actually, my name's Derek.
Of all that is golden.
Derek versus Godrick. Let's actually drink this flask, shall we? Did we get him past the poise threshold? Nope, we didn't. Okay. Cool. Couple more quick charged heavies. Nice. Run under the arm. Should be another bleed. Bloodhound's finesse. How do you get behind me?
Lord of all that is golden.
Armless fun, yes.
And one day we'll return together to our home, bathed in rays of gold.
GG. Let's go. As you can see, I'm just starting this game. And, looking forward to trying Rivers of Blood later. One of the faster Godrick runs I can remember. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty optimized at this stage. Especially with all the extra runes that we get from Greyll now, which is a cheese I never used to know how to do before this, and now I've got it down pat, I think. Robbie, welcome in. We have just beaten Godrick on our first ever Elden Ring run. Sorry, that's a joke from earlier in the chat. Don't worry about it. So yeah, we're going to go and get a few more sacred tears, do Vare's quests, fight Radahn, the usual. Yeah, get your first try emotes ready. Real talented for a first-time player. I'm somehow a first-time player with 900 hours in this game. Caught him on the backswing, that's impressive. Forget how good of a weapon the Bloodhound's Fang is when I'm not using it for this. But I will have a chance to remember later, because in a few weapons' time we're going to be using this one for a full playthrough. Planning on any DLC gameplay in the future as well. There will probably not be any, like, full all bosses DLC runs, but naturally we are going to be getting to the DLC for this weapon and for several other weapons that we need to use from later in the DLC. We will have to beat a significant amount of it. Like, when we get as far as, like, the Great Sword of Radahn builds, then we're going to need both of those, which means beating Radahn at least once, so that we can get both of them from the Remembrance. Gonna up the flasks here, let that sail harmlessly over my head and put one more point into Vigor. Then we'll tag the Grace outside of the Academy. I shall grab this while I'm here. And then let's go see Vare. Bloodhound's Fang was always your go-to starter weapon. Yeah, a lot of people use this. It's such a good weapon. Like, it is deservedly everyone's favorite. I think I used it for a while on my original character too, but then I found Moonveil, and I wanted to be a an intelligence build so I could use some longer range sorcery as well. So I ended up becoming a Moonveil spammer. Where is the... Oh, of course. I was thinking, like, I don't have the shortcut to the round table hold, and that's because I haven't actually been there for the first time yet, which Melina has to do for you.
Very Very well. Let my hand.
Not like completing this series will take you too long with only 408 weapons. I mean, we're getting to the point now where we're beating a weapon within 2 streams, so it shouldn't take too long, but there will definitely be some diversions. I was considering doing both of these runs with the same character, and maybe just like respecking. But I think I do want to do them as 2 separate characters. Even though the route to the DLC is going to be basically the same. Right, let's head back here. Gonna have to watch the VOD to catch up on jokes. It's not the biggest deal in the world. Whoop. Alright, we're down. I saw somebody, I think it might have been Mitch Riz, jump off the other direction instead of jumping onto that rock and then, like, dodging under the bridge past the rune bear, but I'm like, I don't know how you did that. We're going to go see Vare first. Get the invasion fingers, and then double back to get hold of the dexterity crystal tier.
Words are truly, I believe, even that's the. Oh, and give it a try. And if it 5 high,
Call me Lambkin again, and I will throw you off a bridge. Up here we have a Grace. Beyond that we have a crystal tier, and then it's off to get the Academy key from the dragon. the first time chatter being like, hey, you should try Rivers of Blood. I'm like, oh, you mean the weapon they nerfed a couple of patches ago? Great. I'll give that a try. Actually, they didn't nerf it too badly. They mostly stopped it from, like... Or was it Blasphemous Blade they nerfed? I know, I'm pretty sure Rivers got nerfed as well, but... Time to get out of Albinoric range. Yeah, there you go. Rivers of Blood, the one everyone uses. That and Bloodhound's Fang. I'm pretty sure my first time beating Malenia was Rivers of Blood. That was when it was the meta. Excuse me. A bit of tea went down the wrong way. You use Bloodhound's Fang? Yeah. It's a darn good weapon. Who's ready for the old favorite? We've got ourselves a dragon heist. Didn't even load the boss bar. Casual, stylish. That's Derek Zoolander. We're going to rename Torrent Magnum. Use the Misericord with Parry Shield as the first and Occult Zweihander for your second playthrough. About to attempt your challenge, but from Z to A. Nice. We'll meet you in the middle somewhere. What is the 204th weapon in the list? Where's broken physics when you need them? Zoolander because Black Steel? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's Blue Steel in Zoolander, but I thought it was close enough. There are no Blue Steel weapons in Elden Ring, so... It worked out perfectly because there are 2 of these Black Steel weapons from the DLC, and so this one is Zoolander, the next one is Zoolander 2. I tried to get some of the makeup, at least, to look like Zoolander, but I'm not very good at designing characters who look like actual people.
I am an old soul here, perhaps.
So we need one of those. We need to crush Godrick's Remembrance to get the next one.
Something.
To make the mouth purse up? A little bit, yes. And then added some lipstick.
Oh, when I'm... If you come to... I am a totem. Raise territory when the rain after Levicarian. I conjure that is one unless you wish.
Don't go near the manor.
At any rate, I've...
Nice, okay. So we have that now. We'll put that in Talisman 2, even though we don't really need it. Oh yeah, we need to get EG to upgrade that. That's a good idea.
Something.
Nice, okay. So with that, back to Academy, across to Bellum Church. I think I'm not going to count which one is the 24th weapon, not yet. Well, yeah, I imagine it's somewhere in, like, the L range, maybe? L or M? But either way, I'll see you there. We'll high-five on the way past each other. If you did an A to Z, I would just choose my favorite or an interesting weapon from each letter and run that. Yeah, that's a sane way of doing this. It's going to be exciting to fight Vike with something that isn't a bow. Or a tiny dagger. I think the fight that surprised me the most about the Black Knife was Gideon. Like, we actually managed to stomp Gideon first try in a pretty emphatic way, and it was doing a lot of damage by the end of the run, but... I hope the same can be said of Blade of Calling when we use that. It at least has the same double slash R2, so... we can do that. Pick up the Rune Arc from over here. I think this time around, instead of going and doing Vike's Church first, I might go and do Altus and Magnus the Beastclaw first, and then do Vike just as a part of completing Vare's quest. Could dual wield Blade of Calling and the Black Knife for symmetry? I could, I guess. Hoist that medallion. As usual, our first port of call is going to be heading off to Lux Ruins for the Ritual Sword Talisman, which is going to end up replacing Carrion Filigree, at least for now. I also haven't put the Dexterity Not tier on the Mixed Physic yet, so we'll do that in a second, but it's hardly going to be pivotal to my strategy against these bosses. There we go. Is the Greathammer something you need to farm? No, guaranteed drop from a Black Steel Knight in the... I want to call it Church of Consolation. It's the church that's like down the road to the right as soon as you get to Gravesite Plain. It's very quick. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. No hour of farming? No, we should be able to get to grips with this one pretty quickly today. It's not Otter, thank you for the 45. That does feel like a milestone. I skipped Erdtree Gazing Hill there. I kind of didn't mean to, but for whatever reason I decided let's teleport out of Lux Ruins. So we're short one golden seed from there. We left the one in Stormvale and we left the one on the Ray Lucaria bridge. So we have a few others that we can go back to if we really need them. But I'm going to go through here and get some of the others. Welcome to Stormvale 2.0. Yo, Snot Otter, thank you for the 10 gifted. I think you wrote a message in chat before that, but I genuinely didn't see it because the 10 gifted immediately filled the chat. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate the support. Not sure if everybody is watching who just got gifted a sub, but if you are, make sure you thank these very generous sub gifters. Alright, we'll stop there for this. Head up the ramp. Tree Sentinel boss bars are still here for some reason, as if the game thinks I'm actually going to go and fight them. Ignore the gargoyles. The gargoyles cannot hurt you if you run away from them. Currently not watching 100% as I'm painting. How I feel bad about it, please tell me it's normal. Oh, like, yeah, I have streams on in the background all the time. I have, like, I put streams and videos on when I'm doing the dishes. Like, I'm never the most active chatter. So, yeah, do not worry if you just want to have some background noise while you're doing other stuff. It's perfectly normal. Half the time when I'm playing Minecraft, other people are playing Minecraft and they just have my stream on in the background. Streams are basically podcasts with extra steps. Do not worry about that. Keeping my runes for now because we'll need these to upgrade the weapon shortly. Left the stream on while I went shopping. There you go. That's some hardcore lurking right there. Lurking is so normal that there's an entire, like, Twitch terminology for it. You've managed to have a nap with one of these Elden Ring streams in the background? Remind me to, I'm trying to think what the noisiest boss is in this game. I'm like... What, like, screams at you in this game? One of the Royal Revenants, probably. Tree Sentinel encounter is noisy. It's not the noisiest. Bale, I think, yeah, probably Bale. There's a lot of shouting. Some of it coming from the NPC. I can't wait for whichever run it is we have an excuse to fight all the dragons. Probably Dragon Communion Seal. But that's probably going to be the first time we actually fight Bale, because Egon's Great Bow is not until really late. Generally speaking. Eleonora? Yeah, Eleonora's got a couple of the... like the Dragon Maw incantation stuff. Let's go back here. I think we're going to go up here, get the sacred tear from the Eleonora Church. And then go through Bower of Bounty and up the Spirit Spring on the other side. And I think this is how we'll get to Magnus this time. We'll try this out, just like a slightly different route. Yeah, Fire Giant would be a pretty hefty alarm clock, yeah. Dragon Lord Placidus Axe. A lot of roaring in that one. Or maybe Lich Dragon Fortis Axe. I feel like there's a couple of the dragons that have a lot of very intense roars going on. There you go. Now we're in the thick of it. Elden Beast put you back to sleep, probably. Yeah, Radagon is even surprisingly quiet. Alright, Magnus. Let's do this. Greyoll's roar has to be the loudest roar. Probably. At least in canon it must be. Oh, ouch. Just walked into that. Casually. No way he managed to evade that. That's wild. Nice. The bleed came through at the right time. Yeah, the actual dragon, yes. But then also, yeah. I think Greyoll's roar is, as a skill, meant to be pretty destabilizing. So canonically, loudest dragon also. Missed me. Just in case we want to come back here later, I don't know, for like Golden Vow or something, I'm going to get the nearest grace to Mount Gelmir from here, and then we'll return to Vare. It's on the other side of this bridge, yeah. Alright. We can make more blood grease, so I will do that now.
Oh, I'm glad. You have a... I wish to... A knight luminary... So... Now...
Why has this man always got to remind me that I have a... Okay, the blood of anyone's maiden will do. That's why we're going to Church of Inhibition. But first, I will do what I said I was going to do and fix my Physic Flask. Along with a couple of Sacred Tears. A couple of Golden Seeds. That should be good for now. Yeah, we're at +9. We'll be +10 after this. Only ones we'll be missing are the ones from mountaintops, which we'll obviously have to get after Morgott. But after this, all we have to do is fight Radahn and get into Lanedell. And then we should have all of the upgrade materials we need. Nice that madness doesn't affect you throughout that jump. Oh, ouch. We got absolutely swarmed by rats. Just kidding, I needed to get to the ladder. Feels poetic to use the maiden from the start. Oh, sure, yeah. The main reason I'm going for this one is because we still need the Sacred Tear from up here. So it's, like, on the route, as it were. So that's that problem taken care of. I might actually get Howl of Shabriri, considering how much extra damage it gave us on the last run. I kind of want it. If we're not going to be dealing fire damage, then Faith build kind of benefits from that. It's not exactly on the way to go to chapel. Yeah. Alright, one more into Vigor. 1,000 runes is pretty losable if we go and fight Radahn next. Although we do need to upgrade our weapon twice more, so that it has the potential to go a little better. No healing for you. No healing for you. A fingerprint grape. So much stuff. Alright, let's go see our boy EG. This weapon feels so comfortable now.
Well, then I presume.
Oh, we need 1,000 or so more runes. 1,200 seems good. Nice, 230 left. Okay, time to go fight Radahn. Alright, with apologies to Millicent, let's go jump off a cliff. Didn't quite make it. Feels kind of drunk at the start once you get used to the way it swings. It's fun. Yeah, it's... Especially when you have this much vigor and the Confessor starts with relatively decent armor. It really feels like you can't lose. Didn't pick up my runes, but never mind. I had 230 anyway. That time I didn't even bother. That time I didn't even jump. I recognized this jump? Yeah, I wish I recognized it slightly better so that I was better at it. How many attempts did Radagon Elden Beast take with a black knife in the end? I think Radagon was probably like 10 or so. We got 2 cracks at Elden Beast and I beat it on the second attempt. Rough. I beat it on the second attempt, but it killed me right after I killed it, and so it almost didn't give me the win, but in the end it did. The clip of that is in the featured clips from last stream, and it's actually hilarious. I really got to get used to actually committing to a direction when I do this jump. Yeah, the first time I get it, it's the first attempt. This is honestly the primary reason that my attempts to speedrun to the DLC always end up being... Yeah, I keep, like, hedging to the left or the right to try and avoid that pillar, and that's what screws me over every time. Yeah, this is the reason my my DLC speedruns always end up, like, over 2 hours. It's because I can't do this jump consistently. Yeah, this is all a first attempt because it is my first time playing the game. Nope, still no. We'll give it 5 more attempts, and then I'll just do the Walk of Shame to Redmane. That one doesn't count because I didn't jump. Torrent is feeling silly today. I think that time maybe I jumped too late? Difficult to say, really. That time I didn't jump either. Again, that time I was too busy trying to get over to the left. I didn't get the distance. What are we doing now? Repeatedly jumping off a cliff. This is ostensibly the fastest way to get into the Starscourge Radahn fight, although I'm not good at it. There we go. I'm only good at it on the speed runs where on the runs where we're not speedrunning to the DLC. But yeah, this should go well now. Ouch. Okay, not bad too far. No, so far, at least. Not too bad so far. How does English work again? Wow. Guillotined. Anyway, that's Radahn. Just gonna wait here for the grace. And suddenly it's nighttime. No Blythe. Let's go say hi to Alexander. To not be on the horse to talk to him.
Aye. One hit after that, and as luck. If I can't, you know, who could expect? Just you wait.
Just in case we need Shard of Alexander later on. Back to Vare. And And Draconic Tree Sentinel is up next. Hello, good jar. Right, time to get my fingers chopped off.
Now, this
Or whatever happens here.
Oh, good heavens. Clench your teeth or something.
It's a manicure.
This is what you have.
I always come away from a manicure with bloody fingers.
Amid the
Alright. Let's go do the thing. Inverse of giving Rani an engagement ring. Yeah, her own engagement ring. A ring she's kept in a locked chest for a while, and you're like, sure, this is what I got you. Right, yes, this way. Couldn't work out which way it was facing for a second, and I'm like, oh yes, Rays of Grace, kind of pointing towards Lanedale, huh? We are going into Lanedale just to get hold of a Somber Smithing Stone 7 from a place that isn't Volcano Manor. Or Deeproot Depths, I think there's one there too. Always made me think she was engaged before and broke it off. Maybe she was. Probably to one of her, like, cousins or brothers or something, knowing this game. I thought I was out of the woods. Not so much, okay. We're one flask down going into a Draconic Tree Sentinel. But this should be okay. Didn't quite have the range on that last one. Doesn't have the range, darling. I also don't think I've equipped Ritual Sword Talisman yet, despite having got it earlier, so that might be the reason why we're not doing as much damage as I was expecting. Despite that, GG, I guess. Oh no, we do have Ritual Sword equipped. I just didn't go and get the third talisman pouch yet, so I thought we might have still had the other one equipped. What's up, Dance Muse? Thank you for the GGs. That was an amazing outfit. Did you see that? Also, shout out to my runes right now. 69996. That's us comfortably to 40 Vigor. Right before Mohg. Just working and enjoying the streams. Love to hear that. Always thought it was Godwyn, that's why she went after him. Didn't want to marry a half-brother. That's fair, yeah. Although, considering the lineage of the demigods, basically everyone's a half-brother. Everyone's half something, anyway. Half crazed. Always found it strange that these guys were just kind of dozing in the alleyways. All the commoners with the stretched necks. Right, we just got to roll our way through the royal capital, get to the sewers, get one smithing stone and the shackle, and then skedaddle. That is the other reason to not go and get the Somber 7 from Volcano Manor, is because the shackle is down here. And it is pretty helpful to have that for the fight. Sort of the whole reason this strategy can work and does exist. Yeah, sure, let's fight this guy, why not? Don't get any bleed from this, but... Okay, I think I got a hit there somehow. Oh, interesting. It does a follow-up on the R2 I did not know about. There we go. Good fight. All right. Down we go, down to the sewers. Free Runark, and we're in. Welcome back to Depths. Complete with all the rats. None of the basilisks. Fortunately, because I didn't pick up any light source, we don't need to look at the rats too hard. I think the Omen might have seen me. But if he has, he's not bothered. Okay, good. That Omen over there, also not bothered. These imps, on the other hand, bothered. Okay, time for the lobster dodge. We got there just in time to see him T-pose. And that'll be that. Lobster, no. Don't. Okay, we'll go to Round Table Hold just to get hold of the second or third talisman pouch. The second talisman pouch, the third talisman slot.
Fine, you have it now to become the thing as much.
So for that, we can at least get hold of this. And Hugh can upgrade our weapon. Although I guess until we've gone to Mohg Palace, we can't get the +10 upgrade, so...
You're in no match, lad. You're...
Yeah. Let's go to Mohg. Where have we gotten to? We are headed to Mohg Palace. We're just going to get the last upgrade, and then we're going to fight Mohg. And at that point, we'll be in the DLC. I will have to refresh my memory on the sequence of attacks that we do, because I'm pretty sure it's like 3 light attacks and a heavy, but I don't know that for certain. Who's ready for raspberry jam? Never gets any nicer to look at. I'm glad you're liking the Fields Wishes. That's very nice to hear. I don't do like farmland areas like that enough. I think they're always very picturesque and quite fun to build. Can tell the noble's not following me anymore because my stamina isn't going down as I'm running. Resist the urge to fight Vare. Touch Grace. Now, try not to lose 18,000 runes to this lot. Should be potentially easier considering my health bar, but you never know. Oh, that guy's got glowing eyes as well. Oh god, I was parrying half of those because I didn't realize. Nice, that's an easy 10k. Back to the Grace. Crushed. Okay. Back to EG because he's slightly faster to get to than Hugh. The urge to get the shiny, always. But those Albinorics, it's worth it too because they have a lot of runes. Here we go. EG forges me a god-slaying weapon, mostly so I can get to the DLC. We level up one more time, putting that into Vigor. It could have gone into Endurance, but 41 Vigor seems good too. And let's go fight Mohg. So this is the point at which I need to remember what the heck we're doing. We put the shackle on here. We've only got 4,000 runes, which is pretty losable. So it's 2 hands, flask, blood grease, shackle, 3 R1s and an R2. Battle of the Cool Capes incoming? Yeah, we'll see. We should be just under 2 hours if this fight goes well. Gotta remember to let him finish his animation before doing the second shackle. And then finesse. Heavy follow-up. Take the riposte. Finesse, heavy follow-up, finesse. I think that's how it works. And I got my flask. The talismans are correct. I think everything should be going well. We will see. It's all about the execution and whether or not I get hit, because Ritual Sword Talisman is kind of a requirement for how much extra damage it gives you. I know FromSoft's never going to explain this body, but I wish they would. I mean, I think it was just... It was meant to be Miquella's hand, because he only has 3 hands. But then it's the wrong side. It's like the right hand. When he's missing a left hand. And it's like, what? But maybe because the Land of Shadow is meant to be like a mirror universe, maybe that's why. Who knows?
Welcome, honored guest, to the birthplace of our dynasty.
Time to die nasty. Let's go. Nice. Good start. Awesome. Take the riposte at the front if we can. Yes. Excellent. Good. And that should be game. Perfect. Oh, very good. I don't have a second foul foot to pop, unfortunately. But that is 1 hour 43. I think that's our fastest DLC entry. That is excellent. Now, I need to look up the stats for the Black Steel Greathammer just to see what I need to invest in. I'm pretty sure strength and faith, but I need to make sure that I don't need extra dex or something. Oh, go away with your cookies for extra life. We need 25 strength, 11 dex, 17 faith. I'm pretty sure I have 11 dex already. I mean, yeah, I have had it for the Bloodhound's Fang. That makes sense. So we need 25 strength. How much faith, I say? 17. Okay, great. And then it will scale primarily with strength, but also with faith a little bit. So we'll build strength first. We're only level 75, so obviously we're going in a little bit weak, but ignore Leda because we don't need to touch her. We need to touch Miquella's arm. The withered arm, whatever that is. Not bad for my first playthrough, I know, right? Also, I love the PB emote with the peanut butter. That's great. Okay, so welcome to Gravesite Plain. We are not going to be seeing too much of this place. I might go and get the two-handed sword talisman just because we'll probably be hitting stuff with this. But like I said, the whole point of this build is going to be guard counters. This shield has 100% physical, so unless we want to go for style points and pick a different shield, chances are we could just use this shield for the remainder of the game, because it'll work for guard counters, and I like the fact that it's got the black stripe on it. There are a few shields that I think give you passive bonuses, but I don't know if that's really worth bothering with. Shout out to this dog that's on fire, by the way. And in order to get hold of the Black Steel Greathammer, we just have to fight this guy, who is conveniently in front of some Shadow Tree fragments, just in case we find this fight difficult. But so far it seems okay. Sick. We've done it. Right, back to base game. The Black Steel Great Shield does exist if you want thematic. That is true. we now have the weapon for the run. And, yeah, let's take a look at the lore. Weapon of the Black Knights, Servants of Messmer the Impaler, Greathammer of Black Steel with decorative embellishments in gold, blessed with an Erdtree incantation. Further holy imbuement will amplify the effect and greatly increase the armament's power. Guard counters cause a burst of power. That is how we're going to be rocking this thing. And look how ridiculous this character is. Although his cheekbones kind of remind me of the sculpting of this hammer, so if anything, it's perhaps appropriate. Folks, I'm going to take a short break here. I'm just going to run to the bathroom, but we are 2 hours in. We've got another hour's worth of time with this weapon before I will depart for the evening. So I will sit at the Table of Lost Grace and be right back. I have returned. So the first thing we need to do is go and introduce ourselves to D.
I don't believe we've met. I'm known as Heed My Warning.
Literally poking him in the eye with the handle of this thing.
Those all the more.
Okay, so now we need to go and fight any enemy that drops Deathroot. So in this case, we're going to go and fight the Tibia Mariner and Summonwater. Haven't upgraded this thing at all yet, but it should be fine to just smash the Tibia Mariner some. Obviously, Alexander's not going to be here because we've already seen him. But D will sell us an Ash of War, I think, called Order's Blade. Unless he sells that as a spell, in which case I don't know if that's just something we use to, like, infuse the weapon on the fly. I think it might be an incantation, but it's like having a like a holy armament spell. Either way, Tibia Mariner is not really an enemy we can guard counter, so we're just going to be hitting it for this one. It's an incantation? Yeah, so I think it's one of those ones that needs intelligence as well, right? So I think we just need to, like, imbue it, infuse it. Go around the corner this time. Okay, this thing does a lot of base damage I think just with the stats I have now. Just gonna back off for a second. Hefty swings. Oh, I like this. This has Endure as well right now. So now we've got that. We can go back and talk to D, show him the death route. He introduces us to Geraint. Already been there, but we probably should go and talk to him.
Another for with a how would you, if you're inclined? Then I'll introduce. I have a matter in the beast. What say you? Very. I've marked the. It will lead you. What is a map indicate? It will lead you.
So I guess we do have to go back to Bestial Sanctum after all. So yeah, we need 13 int, so that's not going to be too difficult to get hold of. Especially now we can do the Mohg Palace bird farm to get some more levels. Black Blade Kindred versus Black Steel Greathammer. It's funny, I never approached the Bestial Sanctum that way, so it was genuinely kind of unfamiliar to me that this guy would even aggro. Then again, he can't get in here, so... Yes, the humorous mariner.
I smell feeding. Tarnished, I should feed me.
To be fair, Clawmark Seal is probably better for incantations, so... because it'll scale with strength. So let's do that. Alright, you, talk to me.
Then owing, I think you the power of...
There we go, Orders Blades. Enchants right hand arm with holy damage. So that is how we're going to infuse this thing with holy. In the meantime, though, let's get 2 levels out of these. We should be able to... oh, more than 2 levels. Gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4... Yeah, we don't need Mohg's Remembrance. Or Radahn's, actually. So... yeah, we'll use both of these. We could get a pretty decent Ash of War on this thing. Was it 13? It's 13, right? So if I memorize spell... yeah, okay, Order's Blade is there now. Don't need that. We'll get to 33 Faith for Howl. Cool. So I think... at this stage... we need to go around getting some smithing stones to level this thing up. So we've got... Crystalian to fight... but the notion here is that Order's Blade does this, and then this thing does, like, even stronger guard counters. And now it's got that big glowy look to it, which I think is very cool. Will be fun with this weapon. It'll also be fun to finally have something that can kill skeletons without them having to be hit on the ground. I never bother with weapons like this. We actually need to go to this one. I just realized. Yeah, it says further holy imbuement amplifies the effect and greatly increases the armament's power. So whatever it's doing now, it will do more. Possibly just more holy damage. So I'm not sure how that'll scale against the bosses who are resistant to holy. Namely the whole end game. But I guess we'll find out. Yeah, we need to head up this way. Did a holy weapon run once, not needing to double tap the undead was so great, yeah. I think I don't fight too many of them on just like the standard run of this, but I can see this working very well against the Tibia Mariner that we just killed. I also need an excuse to ditch the Saw Seal. So I'm thinking we need to go and get the guard counter talisman from Stormveil as soon as possible. I'm trying to think what else will be beneficial for this weapon. What's up, Zerotron? Welcome back. We are now on the path to upgrading the Black Steel Greathammer. So we're heading in to fight the Crystalian. Yeah, I'm thinking in terms of talismans, two-handed sword could work for the ones that we don't want to guard counter, we just want to hit them. But then where else? What other talismans are we going to find beneficial? Well, that I did not mean to do. Potentially Sacred Scorpion Charm, if we're mainly doing holy damage. Because this thing splits between physical and holy, but the holy is not that significant until I think we imbue it. And again, we probably want to keep the damage focused in physical for late game bosses, so I need a couple of options for dealing physical damage. Fortunately, this thing is a strike weapon, so in this boss it's going to go very well. Yeah, maybe Green Turtle, just for the sake of having some stamina. There we go. Feels slightly better taking that guy out after having been hit by basically everything. You missed. Is Two-Headed Turtle available without DLC progression? Because you have DLC open to get it. I don't know where you get it from. I can't remember. Zoolander is a model, not a fighter. It's true. See, now this thing does more holy damage. I think. There you go. That's the stuff. You can't quite see it in this arena, but it leaves like a big Radagon-style golden nebula on the ground. Rivermouth Cave? I don't wanna go to Rivermouth Cave. Looks like you could just run to Two-Headed Turtle. Oh, do I have to? Of course I don't have to. But, it might be a good idea. I need to learn my way around the DLC a bit more for some of the upcoming weapons. I would definitely need to run to go and get the two-handed sword talisman, which would just give me a straight 15% damage increase if I was two-handing, so it's worth it. Especially against, like, you know, we're not going to be guard countering Elden Beast very much, you know? Have to get the original turtle one anyway? I don't think you would. I don't see why. Because the original turtle one is just, like, in a chest behind a stone sword key door. I don't think you'll ever, like, upgrade the talismans. You just sort of obtain better ones. I should also add that I have not upgraded this at all yet. So it's already doing pretty decent damage to most things. Excuse me. Normal talisman is in Summonwater? Yeah, I mean... it's pretty easy to get. I certainly have some stone sword keys that I can spend on it. Get wrecked. This thing has such a big swing, too. Like, it's a crowd control weapon as well as being just a big, meaty, hefty lad. Here's another great reason to come here besides the smithing stone statue. Is there's a free rune arc and a free foul foot here. So in case we want to get runes... Alright, let's get out of here. Thought this was Mary Poppins' umbrella for far too long. If her umbrella could deal damage like this, then can see how she's ended up in the position she has. Hey, we got a pickaxe. Shout out to Minecraft Steve. As a child, I yearned for the mines. Stamina is good. It might not be what you need. I do have a pretty high endurance. So I think we need to go to Stormvale for the Guard Counter Talisman ASAP. And that's just in the chest where you fight the guy. And at this point, with Gostock not even being here, who knows how this will go. But I think it's fastest to get there this way. It's so funny how he presents the castle main gate versus back entrance thing as though it's some sort of binary choice. It's like, no, you can just do both. Oh, I'm going to like this hammer a lot, I think. Imagine seeing a guy running up the stairs towards you with this breeze block on the end of a stick. I mean, technically the brick hammer is that, and that's just upstairs for these guys, so maybe they've seen stuff like this before, but it's a little ridiculous. That didn't even look like a normal hit, and they were instantly just gone, so... Yeah, I never really considered colossal weapons much before this challenge because they always just seemed so slow, but now I know the game reasonably well. I'm like, oh yeah, everything has a window of time that you can hit them with this. So fun fact for people who didn't know, if you beat Godrick before you come into this room, Gostock doesn't lock you in because he's just in Godrick's arena, stomping on his head. That's the stuff right there. Enhances guard counters. It said that a blind swordsman was the originator of this technique, the art of allowing one's opponent to strike so as to leave them vulnerable to a well-timed reply. The same blind swordsman who trained Melania, I guess. Elden Ring loves its blind swordsman. So we'll probably end up using... the jump heavy attack at some stage too, so Claw Talisman probably worth having. Axe Talisman also probably worth having. That's what you get for trying. I do like the fact that this is still completely unupgraded. And we are trashing guys in Stormvale. I guess it also helps that I have like 40 vigor. GG. I've seen the first waterfowl dance Melania had from early development. No, I have not. Is it one of those things where it was like, this had 5 additional stages and we just had to nerf it down to 3? Like how the riposte animation is basically just like, I hit you with the side of the hammer, or like the handle. It's actually very simple, look closer to a martial arts form. Oh, interesting. Sort of more like Dancer of Rana. Is my makeup smudged? Shoo. Okay, Claw Talisman gets. We'll swap that for Carrion Filigree because I'm not really using the skill on this right now. I just think Royal Knight's Resolve on this could absolutely rip. But that does involve going to Volcano Manor. Which is a silly place. I think let's go and get the Smithing 5s from Selia Crystal Tunnel. She actually hopped on one leg over and over. Well, that's what waterfowl do, so I guess that's sort of accurate from a nomenclature standpoint. Excuse me, rats. She looked like a crane. Actual crane stance. Hilarious. They still attack you. A lot like Crouching Tiger, but it's Hissing Goose. Hissing Goose is very good. Shout out to Stardew Valley, apparently. Right. Time to bonk some shrimps. Hello, can I heal, please? Can I heal? There's only so much I can poise through. I also love the fact that this is in Caelid. The enemies are still pretty hefty, but I do think they're sort of also designed so that you can take them on with level 1 gear, just in case you end up here and decide to fight your way out without understanding the upgrade system yet. What's up, Bray Bob? Welcome in. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Don't mind me. So this place should have decent amount of smithing 5s. So we'll be able to get up to plus 14, maybe? He took one look at me, turned around. Like, no, perhaps I won't. I'm like, good instincts. Just keep hitting. He noped right out of there. He did. And a wise move. Methinks. The question is, do you think we can take on Fallingstar Beast now? Completely unupgraded. Shout out to the Pest's Glaive. Just watched a Tulok the Barbarian video about that. Apparently it sucks. Sure, why not? I like your confidence. Let's do it. I do not know what we can do as far as guard counters against this thing, though, so... maybe we just go for the heavies. Maybe it also goes for the heavies. I'm being greedy here and trying to stagger it. And getting punished for that, so should probably just heal up and do this the normal way. Okay, fair. We got it anyway. Cool, you can throw an aura in its direction, but doesn't seem to do a whole lot of damage right now. Maybe because my my faith stat isn't particularly high yet. Oh, I thought just running was going to get me out of that. Apparently it didn't. What if we found a place to just do Order's Blade again? Yeah, that does up the damage pretty substantially. Nope. Okay. Ouch. Oh no, I forgot I had a follow-up there. I'll go back. I'll go back for the runes. Especially since I didn't tag the Grace, so we're just going to respawn in the shack. But I did activate the shortcut, so we can get back there very easily. Although it very easily does not necessarily count pest threads. Not too bad, actually. Not too bad. That'll do. Slightly less goofing around this time. no stamina. Colossals! Gotta love them. There's our second stagger. Yeah, this time I know the rhythm of this. This time I know what I'm doing. Although, thanks for giving it iframes. Severe stamina debt after that one. That was literally like a pixel left of my stamina bar and I'm trying to do a full heavy attack. I'll take that as revenge. I don't think I need the stamina talisman so much as I just need investment in endurance. And regrettably, we cannot teleport out of here yet because we are still, technically speaking, trapped. But yeah, the first one was a practice run for sure. Let's actually tag the Grace so that the place will allow me to leave. Flasks. Who needs them? They're just like us. So that has at least given us a decent stock of smithing 5s, so we can now finally level this thing up to plus 15? Plus 16, possibly? We do need to buy most of the 1 through 4s, but that's why I've left myself all of these juicy runes. We could just go and kill another remembrance boss for the sake of it. Oh yeah, let's offer bell bearings. So we need 6 of those, 5 of those, 5 of those, and a full 12 of those. So we'll get this up to a little higher than it is, and go and work on other ways of acquiring runes. Wonder what a rune feels like. They have to be somewhat physical in order to smash them like that? Yeah. I imagine they feel like Christmas baubles. Oh yeah, of course. Oh man, this thing is going to be expensive to fully level up. And get 1 more of those. Okay, time to shoot some birds. I should probably buy a longbow for that, huh? Don't think I have a ranged option. No, okay. Well, using my last handful of runes. I think 1200 is enough for a longbow. I can't remember exactly what the price is. Yeah, there we go, 1200. Turns out I can remember exactly what the price is. We're also going to go and do the Cleanrot Knights fight so that I can buy some arrows. But with this thing at plus, what was it, plus 9 we got it to now? Oh, plus 6, okay. Not quite that far then. But, yeah, we should at least be able to beat the Cleanrot Knights pretty handily with this. And that can get us the gold scarab. Get a few extra runes from that. See if we can do the swag jump again. Even need to do the swag jump? Cool. That's another way of getting down there. I'm learning all the time. Now these Cleanrot Knights, they feel like something I could probably guard counter. Gonna leave him there. In this notoriously dark cave. Whoop, whoop. Okay, I was gonna get hit by them eventually, but when we're in the position that we are, got a decent amount of health, I think we will survive. That's what we're about. So this guy does have a guard break of sorts. There we go. Need to get used to the guard counter stuff. But it does feel significantly stronger even than like a jump attack. And obviously it's going to deal a lot of poise damage too. It's kind of similar to their attacks, actually, if anything. The creating that like Nova effect on the floor. Honestly, guard counters feel kind of slow compared to just laying into them, though, so don't know if I have the patience to do that all the time. They absolutely cooked with the Cleanrot Knight design. They kind of did. I'll take that. I think genuinely a lot of like the factions, whether it's Cleanrot Knights, Godric soldiers, whatever, they all have some pretty well-designed aspect to them. But yeah, I do think the hammer style here is going to be worth sticking with. Just two-handing for most enemies. Obviously, there are going to be some things later where it creates a good opening for you to take an attack with the shield and then follow up with a guard counter. But I also don't know for certain if it's going to be worth exploiting the guard counter on this thing against later enemies that are going to be broadly tanky against holy damage. So I really don't know. You know who's not tanky against holy damage? Albinorix. But I don't think this thing does enough with the AoE of the guard counter to really affect this amount of them. So we'll figure that part out later. In the meantime, we can Gold Scarab, and we can shoot birds. Just going to do this until I have the budget to level up the weapon some more. And then I think maybe we'll head back to Lanedale and maybe fight Morgott to wrap the stream up. I think that seems like fun. I think in between streams I will figure out exactly what I want to do with the build. While we're leveling up here, I'll test out a couple of things and see what I prefer. Also, maybe do a little research on the wiki in case I'm doing it wrong. But the thing I find about guard counters and the sword and shield playstyle especially is that it seems much better suited to your survival in a first playthrough scenario, which I know we've already joked that this is, but I think the shield just increases your survivability, and having guard counters and stuff lets you catch the smaller enemies off balance. But when it comes to just powering through the game like we do, I honestly don't know if it's worth it. Because I'm always going to have more fun and beat the game quicker if I'm more aggressive. And so the guard counter playstyle just doesn't seem like it suits the vibe quite how I wanted it to, you know? Who's guard countering bosses on the regular? I mean, a lot of them can be. You can still guard against their attacks. It's parrying that's the gamble.
Oh, I didn't. What we doing, much? Just lay out.
So we now need a handful of 6s, and then we've got a couple of 7s and 8s already. We've got a couple of big runes we can sell as well. Guard counter can be fun at times. I guess so. Okay, yeah, so now it's going up by like 3 every time we level strength, and by 2 every time we level faith. It'll get a little bit from Dex as well. I suppose it's also about, like, do you want to use ridiculous shields? I feel like this just having a parry on it is all well and good, but I imagine you get a lot more out of it if you get more invested in what other types of shields there are. I just feel like it's for smaller enemies, not like Godfrey. Well, yeah, there's some attacks of Godfrey's you can't even guard against because they're ground-based, right? They're like... they're like earthquakes and stuff. Oh, this guy's got glowing eyes, too. Worth fighting. Great arrows. Learning to parry is hard for you? Yeah, it's hard for me too. There are some people who can parry with any shield, and I'm like, nah, it's buckler or nothing for me. Free Runok. Haven't activated Godrick's Great Rune yet, so maybe we should go and do that once we hit this next grace. I did talk about doing it earlier, and I just haven't. But first we got to bully these guys. Stylish little spin at the beginning there, but I'd expect that of Derek Zoolander. man who has learned to turn right only recently. Or is it left? I forget which one it is. I just use them interchangeably at this point. What does it matter? Stormhill. How many rune arcs do we have? 7. Okay, yeah, worth it. Been to a couple of places with optional rune arcs, I suppose. Normally I wouldn't bother fighting these guardian golems, but I'm actually kind of tempted to see how hard they fall, considering how big they are. Turns out pretty hard. Doing 11,000 is very nice. Okay, this one's just like... Oh, no, we did get him in the end. He wasn't playing fair by being half buried in the ground, but he decided to change that. Here's another enemy that we will not be guard countering. I remember a time when I farmed these golems because I was like, wow, 1,000 runes each? We'll level up in no time. And they're big enemies that I know how to fight. Still a pretty good first-time farm. But that's a farm for your, like, 100-hour playthroughs. We've all been there. To the Divine Tower of Limgrave? Most of us have. Got to work on my my runway walk.
Well,
Also, Soprano Cat, thank you so much for the 25 months of Prime. Welcome back. Restore the power of the Great Rune. Sweet. So from here, we can at least equip that and go fight Godfrey. Yeah, we'll do Godfrey, we'll do Morgott, and then we'll call it a day for this particular stream. I will not be streaming this Sunday because I have a Stillfleet game.
For bringing here, and thus I shall farewell. I shall leave. I wish you luck. You have. I have no.
Bye, Mel. Yeah, I have my Stillfleet game on Sunday, so we will unfortunately not have time for streams. But I shall return on Tuesday with more of this. Yeah, Sundays is just one of the days when my whole Stillfleet crew is available, so we kind of have to squeeze those games in when we can. Especially since we are right on the cusp of starting a new mission in the campaign, which means right now they're doing the paperwork. Very important. I actually really like the running R2 of this, where it kind of like sweeps upwards like that. For whatever reason on this hammer, it feels very different to the other, like, colossals I've used that had that same swing. I think it's just because the hitbox of this hammer maybe catches more stuff, but it feels smooth. Like you kind of step into it. Love this weapon. Yeah, I'm having a decent time with it. I'm still not sure if guard countering is worth it. I'm of the opinion that it only seems to be worth it if it is your first time, or you're like trying to explore through some of the less familiar areas of the game. Because I think the rest of the time just hitting them real hard with it is the trick. Or maybe if you want like really reliable poise damage or something. But that's a risky but decent Godfrey. And that's our last talisman pouch. So, what are we going to put in there? I mean, filigree makes no sense. We don't really have much that can help us against Morgott. We'll just get more runes. We could get Axe Talisman because I'm doing a few charged heavies, but we'll put a couple into endurance and one into strength. Order's blade just wore off. Yeah, the thing about Sacred Scorpion Charm now is that I'm so aware of that damage resistance debuff it gives us. That I'm slightly hesitant to include that in our current setup, especially since this thing does deal holy damage, but doesn't seem to deal it in ways that I'm using all the time. It's not like the only source of damage from the weapon, so it seems the least necessary to rely on. But then the damage is going to scale with our faith stats, so it could help later. I think personally scaling faith and just going for Howler Shabriri Golden Vow is going to be a better time for us. Anyway, here's Morgott.
Graceless, tarnished.
What is thy business with these thrones?
It's a walk-off.
Ah, Godrick the Golden. The twin prodigies, Mikola and Melania.
Chair stream.
General Radahn.
Praetor Rykard.
Luna Princess Rani. Willful traitors, all.
Thy kind are all of a piece. Pillagers, emboldened by the flame of ambition.
Have it writ upon thy meager grave.
Where are all their chairs now? I know they were like holograms or whatever, but
Felled by
they sort of
King
blow away in that
Morgott,
gust of wind earlier.
last of all kings.
Let's go. Morgott versus Derek. Oh, acrobatics. Immediately. Yeah, I definitely need the Axe Talisman. I'm doing so many charged heavies now. And it's paying off. Look at this. Yeah, minor illusion, yeah. There we go. There's our second stagger. He continues monologuing whilst I lay into him with the hammer. Oh, the magic pixel!
Shall not be forgiven.
Baseball swing to finish. And that's game. Alright, alright. This thing is fun to swing. I'll give it that. I mean, it's a great hammer. They're all fun. It doesn't have the roll and poke that the colossal weapons do, but I do like the roll and swing like that. It's like you're rotating on two axes. It's really, really fun. Fun kinetics. Good momentum. Sashay away.
Hello again. Allow me a moment. You are prevented. The thorns are a husk, the only way, and become my purpose. So I'd like you to the flame then and guide you.
Not just a good hammer. It's a great hammer.
Let my share them with me. Your thoughts.
Okay, that's 10 points of damage in 3 levels. That's pretty good. We're still obviously upgrading a lot from... we're level 88 right now. But Zoolander is walking that walk, my friends. That, I think, is where we're going to wrap up this stream for today. But we'll be back. We're 2:44 right now. We'll be back next Tuesday, and we should be wrapping up the game for the Black Steel Greathammer. And then Black Steel Twin Blade will be next. Thank you so much for hanging out, folks. I'm going to drop you off with somebody else who's streaming here on Twitch, as usual. So stick around for the raid. And we'll see who's out here streaming. Lot of people. Oh, Eloise is playing that Border Hoarder map with Beck and Owen. We'll drop in on them. Let's go raid them. We will raid Super Eloise. Use our Pixel Hype emotes in the hashtag Pixel Raid. Show some love to Eloise. We're going to go raid there, and like I said, I'll be back on Tuesday for the next one, Minecraft and Elden Ring, as usual. Until then, have yourselves a great weekend. I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye for now.